everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. I always love it when we find something that's truly unique, and such is the case with the Crosley BECK, something I didn't even know existed like 3 weeks ago. This thing looks really interesting. It's a vertical turntable, but it's not a gimmick. It's actually a fully automatic turntable with a moving magnet cartridge. How can this be? You're not going to want to miss this. Welcome back to the studio. We've got a unit today that I did not see coming. So apparently Crosley thought that now was the time to release a vertical turntable. There's been a few on the market, the least of which literally being on the very far right of your screen. We won't talk about that from Five Below. It was definitely not the best. However, there's been some that I've liked and work well for a variety of reasons. I hope this does the same. But this is the Crosley fully automatic BECK featuring a magnetic cartridge and the ability to skip forward and back. And I'm interested to see what they came up with. Have you noticed there's not a lot of channels doing unboxings anymore? It seems like the unboxing portion of reviews is not as common as it used to be. And I remember there were like channels dedicated to unboxings, more so than even reviews. Look at this packaging material. This stuff's pretty wild. I feel like a model railroader or somebody could do something with this. Okay, so let's get into this. We got a lot of this weird packing material, and the unit is sitting down in there. Okay, it's out of the box now. Let's go ahead and see what we got. Keep harping on the packaging, but look at this. This is just weird. An interesting way to do that. I feel like this material could be used for something else. I don't know what it would be, though. I already love this just for the sake of the fact that it's different. And I'm always saying that, you know, on the show, I love it when we see something new that's truly unique, that's not like a rehash or a rebrand of something else. And we might actually have that here. Okay, so the whole package, the entire thing was like 13 pounds, which sounds pretty light, especially compared to some of the stuff we reviewed recently. However, this has good heft to it. It doesn't feel disturbingly light. I always use that phrase, but you know, when you pick something up, you're like, oh, this is trash just based on the weight. That just does not feel like that. This feels as it should. So we've got a wood veneer here, a gray plastic trim, kind of a matte finish plastic that continues up around here. Obviously, being a vertical turntable, there's nothing back here, but there still is some depth to it. Just know that you're not going to fit it on like a 4-inch shelf or something like that just because it's vertical. And it's truly not vertical because they all have kind of an angle. They kind of lean back a little bit, so the gravity kind of helps keep the record on. All right, looking on the front here, we've got a stepped knob here. We've got some transport controls, 45, 33 RPM. These switches are just plastic. They're not like trying to be something they're not. I'm assuming that this shiny area will be a display. And then we've got 2 speaker grills on either side, and they're rigid plastic grates behind there, so you can't jab your finger into the speaker, which is good. We've got our motor mount here, motor pulley, and there is the main spindle. Here's our gimbal. This is unlike any tone arm I've seen. Let's get a closer look. Yeah, I've never seen anything like this before. It is, you know, plastic construction, but there's not a whole lot of give in the actual gimbal itself. The tone arm seems to be a standard issue metal, and we do have a metal counterweight down there. It also appears to be spring loaded as well. Okay, the head shell, also plastic. We've got a 3600L hiding behind there. It doesn't look like it's adjustable, but again, you're not going to want to adjust it. This level of record player, even if this turns out to be really good, the 3600L is going to be just perfect. On the bottom, we've got these coned feet, which are pretty deep. They're about maybe 1.5 inches. And then this access panel back here, so if you needed to get inside of it. Let's look around the back. We've got these ventilation holes on the back side. And then looking closer, we've got an RCA left and right output an aux input, a headphone jack, that was something missing in the last turntable we reviewed, and the power supply as well. And there's a look at the bottom side of the head shell assembly itself. There actually does seem to be slots for the head shell, so perhaps you could adjust the alignment if you needed to. I guess there would be maybe a layer on top that could come off, but you shouldn't need to do that. It should be factory set. There's the back side of the main mount where the platter will be mounted, and you'll notice a little hole right there. That will be for making motor adjustments because the motor is up front. I love the fact that we're dealing with new stuff here. It doesn't happen as often as I would like. All right, so here's the platter. Yes, it is plastic, and we've got a magnetic stabilizer, which grips on there pretty good. So the record will be, placed onto the platter. It will make contact with these pretty deep, pretty thick nubs. I think that's to get over this hub here. But it's actually an ingenious design because think about it. If you've got a larger record like a 12-inch, then it will rest on these nubs and it will be at the same level just above this lip. And guess what that lip does? That's right, it's a 45 adapter. And if you have a small 7-inch record, it's not going to hit these nubs. It's going to be on the inside, and therefore it will be able to mount onto the center spindle there. That's pretty smart. Now, if we flip onto the back, it's interesting the way this is put together. The sub platter right there, and the belt is placed there as well. And there's this little sleeve. I think we're supposed to take that off. I just noticed that right while I was shooting that. I had no plan of even looking that close at it. But yeah, so it's interesting that this is like a solid piece. I wonder if there's some metal in there. I'm not sure. This does have a decent amount of weight. But what we're going to do is we're just going to place it on to the main bearing just like that. And then I'm going to reach around and get that belt on. All right, not the best shot, but as you can see there, I've got the belt over the pulley. And now we can rotate this just to make sure that the belt is seated properly on the sub platter and on the pulley itself. Like I always say, make sure that it is positioned properly on the pulley so that your speed is accurate. Wanted to mention this too, in the accessories pouch, we get a remote control, a standard issue RCA cable, and a brick power supply. I did not notice any sort of switchable preamp, so you will be using the built-in one. All right, got it plugged in. We're going to test with the Sweet Grease 7-inch record. By the way, I saw on VOS Life's channel the other day, he used that record. I was like, hey, he's got one too. That's awesome. Okay, 7 inches, 45 RPM, and press and hold to power on. Got a nice kind of deep blue, almost purplish lights flashing. I guess it's assuming that it's in Bluetooth pairing mode. I'm going to press this again. We've got sort of a magenta, and pressing it again, we've got white. Pressing it again, we go back to what I assume is Bluetooth pairing mode. So I'm going to assume that that is the vinyl mode. And let's go ahead and uncouple the tone arm there with one hand on the left side of me, which isn't even my dominant side. And take this bread tie off, and let's see if I rotate this. Nope, that doesn't do anything. Okay, let's try blue. I'm assuming blue wouldn't work. Okay, something's happening. Oh yeah, this is an automatic turntable. I don't need to move the arm. So how do I start it playing? All right, let's go ahead. Again, this is rough footage, you guys. I'm not trying to act slick here. I'm just learning as I go. Yes, I could read the manual. Oh, look at that. Everything I said was a lie. That doesn't fit over that. I thought that was a 45 RPM adapter. What? What? I got to put a spider on there too, because how else is if I put like man, it would be cool if there was something built in here, but there's just not. I mean, I guess I could spitball it, but well, how is that staying on there? Okay, what if I go off to the side? Yeah, see, it doesn't know anything. I'm going to spitball it, but I could use a spider too. Okay, for today's purpose, we are just going to spitball because that's the most professional thing to do. I've got to read the manual because I don't know how to start this automatic turntable. Okay. I hit play. It brought the arm over and it's lowering it into place. And here we go. good. Very interesting. There is no manual operation here. Like there's no Q lever on the head shell. There's no manually starting it. It's literally push button operation or nothing, which is really interesting. Okay, so now it's hitting the end of the song. Let's see how it behaves. I'm assuming it brings the tone arm home and turns the platter rotation off. Let's see what happens. It's about to hit the run out groove here. Come on now. All right, so we stopped the second we hit the run out groove. Interesting. So you can hear it's using servos to move that. It's not a mechanical movement. It's actually got some noise to it. But I mean, it's, you know, as soon as the music starts, the tone arm is just riding neutrally in the groove. But it's different. And I love that. I keep saying that's the best part because we don't see this type very often. Here is my stroboscopic disc. I also was a little bummed to see that this thing barely accommodates a 12-inch record. The other vertical turntables we reviewed can almost sort of accommodate a transcription record. Okay, we got sirens coming. And I think that that's interesting. I think that's cool. You know, the higher end one that we reviewed, you know, sometime back with a minor modification to the tone arm rest, I think I can get that to totally play 16-inch discs. Not quite so much the ultra cheapo one over to the right there, but I think I could make it work too with some modifications. So anyway, so let's go ahead and spin this thing up. The trick is, how do I think I have to hit play and then I have to hit pause because I don't want the needle to rotate over. It's still going into the, okay, yeah, let's not play that record. Okay, I've got it lifted up off of the surface now. We should be able to see those strobe markings. Right now I'm at 45 RPM, and 45 RPM is the center of the inner three rings, and as you can see, it's marching a little bit counterclockwise up in this instance, and that indicates that it's just a hair slow. And if I go down to 33, you can see that's the one just to the right, and this one looks closer. This one's just about perfect, maybe just a hair slow, but again, that motor adjustment, we could lock that speed in, which is good. So yeah, okay, 33 I'm happy with. Going back to 45, maybe it'll settle in, but that's looking a little bit slow. And I always say I'd rather have it fast than slow. Let's see if this thing has any anti-skate. So I'm going to set it to 33 RPM, 7-inch, and that way it'll drop right in the middle there. Because you can't really cue this thing manually. I've never seen an automatic turntable that doesn't like to work as a manual turntable as well, but this does not. I can't use my typical deal where I put one of my adapters on there to show you it's moving. Okay, so it's pulling towards the inside, just a hair. Let's see if I put it here, what happens. So I always say if it goes from the outer edge to the middle and then stops, that's good, and then it should stay stationary here. Yeah, I'd say that there's anti-skate there. I think that that'll work just fine. Okay, the best way to do this, I think, is to turn off the unit, which I have done. I'm just going to hold this device up here, and then I'm going to place the tone arm there. So yeah, just over 3 grams. That's about right. That's perfect for that cartridge, actually. Okay, I've got Laura Ainsworth's record on here now, and I like how when the record is on, you still have access to all the controls. It doesn't block any of them. We're going to hit play. It'll spin the record up. It'll rotate the stylus. And we're off to the races.
It is the heavy tread of the heavy feet that belong to a lonesome cove.
And again, if you press pause, it'll just raise the tone arm. It's sort of like a cueing lift, but it won't send it home unless you hit the stop button. Now, what I want to try is this cool skip feature, and we've seen this before. I'm anticipating it's going to advance the tone arm a set amount. It's not intelligent enough to look for the next track or the space between the songs or any of that, but still, it's a cool feature. So we're going to try the forward and backward skip and see what happens. Okay, so here I go. I'm pressing that once.
I go to work.
Nothing happens. Press and hold. Okay.
Love.
So there's no preset amount. It goes as long as you press it. It goes as long as you hold the button down for.
Here's to my best romance. Here's to my worst romance. Here's to my first romance ages ago. Here's to the man I've kissed and to complete.
And then of course you can go back as well. I do hear a little bit of wow and flutter, but that could go away over time.
Some trust to fate for love, others have to take thought, wait for love. Some go berserk for love, loafers even go to work for love.
Hit the run out groove, and it returns home. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I love an automatic turntable. I've never seen a vertical automatic turntable. I think it's cool. Okay, now let's test the aux input. So I'm going to switch this past blue to magenta. And just to spice it up a little bit today, let's use mini disc. I haven't done anything with mini disc in quite some time. This is my only working portable. It's an old NetMD machine. As you can see, it's all yellowed, but it works. It actually works. And it even plays my favorite form of mini disc, which are the mini disc LP, where they're lower sound quality, but they're stretched out. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to track 3. I'm just plugged into the headphone jack here, and we should hear something.
Oh, sure, I'm a real slicker. See, I'm taking a chance.
So that's max volume there.
Come on now, let's go at the table anyway. When we are playing and your pocketbook is near me, Man, you must know every song you ever read. I'm fairly musical. This the card table? That's right, and this young, disinterested lady is gonna deal for us.
Howdy, stranger.
Oh, this card game's gotta be crooked. Even the dealer's stacked.
The Kraft Music Hall presents another one of its Gala All-Star revivals, jokes your grandfather used to walk out on, as told by Hope and Crosby, two witty wags, in their inimitable act called Laughs in One. Here they are, opening John Scott.
Smile, away your bluesies, and you feel so happy. Smile, down to your shoesies, it'll make you snappy. Polish off your laughter.
Now a Bluetooth test. I've got this Bluetooth capable compact disc player paired to this device, and here we go. Here are some specifications on this device. So we've got 2-inch 4-ohm 10-watt speakers times 2. So considering, those are actually pretty decent. They actually sounded pretty dang good. Looking at the remote control, it seems to be a good, useful device, although I was able to control everything from the front panel, which is a good test in and of itself. Starting at the bottom, we've got a mute function. We've got a endless loop, so you can just have the record repeat. Bluetooth connectivity, volume, your typical transport controls, a mode switch, a stop, and obviously a power button. And it's got a nice brushed texture to it. So yeah, I could add this to my myriad of remote controls that almost look identical to each other. Okay, final thoughts. The Crosley BECK. Price-wise, this is just under $200. It's $189, and I think that that is a very fair price for a fully automatic turntable with a moving magnet cartridge. let alone the fact that this one is also vertical and has some unique features, which I think are pretty fun. It's not perfect, but no turntable is. This one did have a touch of wow and flutter, which I would imagine would probably iron itself out with some play time. Now, as you know, I test this stuff out of the box. So I don't give speakers enough time to break in, belts enough time to settle in, lubrication enough time to settle in, etc. So it's a pretty hard test. That being said, this is the first impression that anybody that buys one is going to get. So I think it is fair. That being said, this is a cool unit. I could see if you had a hefty bookcase or a bookshelf, this might fit on there and be a very visual, cool, fun piece and still give you good quality sound. As we demonstrated, the tracking force was nice and light. There was anti-skate applied. Plus you've got features such as Bluetooth, aux in, obviously line output if you want to connect it to a bigger sound system. But the built-in speakers were quite respectable. I thought they sounded really, really good. And as always, I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below. All right, my friends, and that's going to do it. Cool unit, not perfect, but it's close. I'll go ahead and give it 2 thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. I'll put links. Don't forget our merch, our adapters, our live shows, our giveaways, all that kind of cool stuff that we do. And we would love to have you along for the adventure. So if you haven't done so already, consider a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. But my friends, that's going to do it for today. So happy record hunting, and we'll see you next time.